The Montreal Canadiens have been very active here on draft day as the trade winds continue to swirl. They end up drafting Filip Mesar with their second pick in the first round. And Laura Saba of Locked On Canadiens is with us. I'm Gil Martin of Locked On NHL. Brandon Pillar of Locked On Senators is here as well. Laura, your thoughts about this very busy day for the Montreal Canadiens?
Well, in our last, conversation, we talked about, do they have something else up their sleeve? Because we thought, all right, they need a center, right? This team does not have the center depth that we need. So I think the general manager was looking quite smug on the draft floor when the camera was focused on him, because he had something up his sleeve, and he ended up trading Alexander Romanov, who will be missed in Montreal. He was a fan favorite. And I know, Gil, you're getting a really exciting young player, someone who's really fun to watch, but the Canadiens have a lot of defensive depth right now. They've got a great 2-7. I'm not sold on their number one defenseman, but they didn't necessarily need Romanov, especially since Gouli's been ready to make the jump, right? So it's not necessarily a huge loss, except from a fan perspective. I loved watching this kid play. He gave me joy every time I saw him out on the ice. So that's going to be a loss in Montreal. But in terms of actual hockey, the Habs were able to obtain the 13th overall pick from the Islanders. And then they flipped it over to Chicago along with the pick that they had from Edmonton. This is why you stock up 14 draft picks in 1 year. And they got center Kirby Dach. So I am a little bit concerned about Dach's injury issues. That's really my big concern, because he is a promising young player. I'm not really sure why Chicago is flipping everybody out and bringing in new people, but that's not my personal problem. I'm worried about the Canadiens. I like this trade for the Canadiens. I actually like it quite a bit. Kirby Dach is a player that I'm quite high on, but I do have a little bit of concern about his injury issues. But on the other side, that really illuminated the first overall pick. I think the Canadiens really did see, they did have a plan, and they knew that something was going to come to fruition. And they were going to be able to bolster their center depth. So that in that perspective, but then they turn around and they pick another winger, another young, exciting player who doesn't necessarily have the physical presence that Slafkovsky has, but he does have skill that can be developed. Like, my impression of this player, and we didn't scout him as heavily as we did, not just the guys at the top, but there were a lot of names that we thought might be available around this pick. We thought that this was a little bit different than what we expected, because, you've had the scouts on your shows as well, right? The scouting experts and the prospect experts, and they have a lot to say. And we kept asking them about different players. This was not somebody that we really expected. So I'm hoping, Pilsy, you have a little bit more insight. I do think that he does need to develop physically a little bit better, but I think the upside is high on him, if I'm not mistaken.
Brandon?
Yeah, I can help you out here, Laura, for sure. And one of those prospects, analysts that you mentioned, Will Scouch, he applauds the way Mesar is able to use his body position, and he's able to pivot to protect the puck. What I would say Mesar does the best, and something that's really going to help him be a kind of a safer pick to be a pro one day, is his ability to transition the puck up the ice. He does such a great job. All the highlights I saw of him, the puck possession that this kid has is incredible. Like, he has no issues holding onto that puck, circling around the zone, waiting for something to come up. And he's able to avoid those big hits from guys trying to separate the body from the puck there. And he's someone that I think just give him the puck in the neutral zone, and he's going to bring it into the O zone more often than not. And when you're the Montreal Canadiens and you've got Martin St. Louis allowing some of those younger guys to just really play and let loose offensively, I'm talking about the Caulfields, the Suzukis, they're going to love playing with Mesar, because he's going to do the simple, boring things, if you will, just getting the puck to those spots, and they'll do the rest. So I think this is a good pick for Montreal, and they're really getting a diverse different types of players up the middle. When you look at Suzuki, then you look at Dach, a bigger guy, then you got a Mesar, someone that's very good in transition, Christian Dvorak, a guy who brings a totally different element as well. So they're really kind of molding their middle of the ice in different ways, and I think Mesar will bring something to the table that they don't have a lot of right now.
And so I think this is great because, other than the Claude Julien years, in the last decade or so, the transition game has been pretty weak for the Montreal Canadiens. And that has been, it's partly due to the fact that they can't actually get the puck out of their zone. but also, I mean, that is really the start of it, at the beginning of where the game falls apart for the Canadiens. But I'm excited because this is also an indication that the Habs are moving forward into the new kind of NHL, like a faster, more mobile, well thought out. I'm very excited that you said that he protects the puck really well. That's definitely something that on a team with not a whole lot of size, that's something that you definitely need in your game, and especially with the speed and everything like that. So I personally, I will defer to Scouch. He's one of our top experts that we consult. I definitely was a little bit surprised with the moves that they've made today, but I feel confident because we were all a little bit shocked, surprised. It wasn't completely out of the realm of possibility, but the fact that he was turned around and had a game plan all along, that makes me feel very confident as a Montreal Canadiens fan. And I'm really excited for these two young players who are now going to be developed by the Canadiens as, childhood teammates, best friends. I think, there's also a cute story. We've been talking about the game, but, when I'm talking about Romanov leaving and these two players coming in, there's a lot of excitement as fans in Montreal. They're falling in love with the team again. And I think this is huge, having engaging personalities who also have talent, who also have the skill, who also will be the players of tomorrow. I'm feeling pretty excited right now, I got to say.
Well, let's hope that excitement is contagious. For more on the Habs and their very busy draft day so far, you can watch and listen to Locked On Canadiens with Laura Saba. Laura, thank you so much for stopping by.